Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Houston Real Estate Talk by Stone and Fields. Today, I'm here joined by Tobias Engel. Welcome, Toby.
Hello.
And myself, I'm Kariliz Perez. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I have a very exciting podcast for everyone. We're gonna wrap up 2021, see what Houston market is been doing, and also a little bit about the forecast for 2022. So let's get started. Toby. You're the boss.
So just a little bit about November. Well, in October we were saying, it looks like things are slowing down a little bit. And, finally we might be seeing a little bit of a cooling down, which I think everyone welcomes.
Yes.
But regrettably, everyone started buying again and we had a bit of a rebound in November.
Right.
So the housing inventory went down yet again to 1.6, while from June it had been resting at 1.8, so that went down. And nationally, we are still very below national level, which is 2.4.
Okay.
So everything went up. Townhome and condominium sales, 16% up in sales. Single family homes, rentals, 7%. Townhome, condominium leases, 5% up. Just everything went up.
Right.
And that was quite a surprise.
It is. It is.
So also, it's really ignoring the normal seasonal trend that you see, where slowly towards the end of the year things are cooling down.
Right.
Not this year.
That's going to happen. And what I've been reading as well, to add to what you're just sharing, is that October was low, and all of a sudden November, like you just said, everything went up again. And what's going to happen, not only are we going to go back to that, we already feel it and we already see it, is all the bidding wars, the multiple offer situations right in the middle of December, when usually and previously this wasn't happening. So that is going to also drive the leasing market, because people are not going to be able to buy. They get frustrated. They get tired, and they need a place to go, place to move in. So they go back to leasing, and leasing has been also seeing, right, a tremendous increase in demand.
Yeah. And leasing prices are going up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's correct. And I've noticed that apartment complexes also usually they pay commissions to realtors. And now with the strong demand, there's zero commissions to realtors.
We don't like that.
Oh, no. But that happens. That's when you know that they're doing very well. And that's when you know they're almost full, up to capacity, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, last year, at the beginning of this year, you see all the building in Houston of all these multiple, apartment buildings everywhere, literally everywhere.
Yes.
And we were thinking, wow, there's going to be quite a bit of oversupply.
Correct.
Well,
no.
We were wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're up to capacity,
right.
most of them. Mm-hmm.
And then if you look in price segments of the different in homes, 1 to 4 single family, then actually from 1 to 150, it's a decrease of 27% versus last year. But probably also because
there's no homes.
I know that segment might be disappearing altogether eventually.
Right. Yes.
Even up to 250, there's a decrease of 33%.
Wow.
And then from 250 onwards, from 250 to 500,000, 26% increase. And from 500,000 to 1 million, almost 50% increase in sales. So that's really crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then 1 million and above is 23% up.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people with a lot of money buying homes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also a lot of cash. Another thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people with cash competing in these multiple offer situations, in these bidding wars. And obviously when you're dealing with cash buyers, it's very difficult to say no when the price is right. They come in and they offer above asking, closing within 2 weeks. And then what happens? They win, right? And you have all these other people with FHA loans or conventional loans with smaller down payment amounts that they end up not having a place and have to submit 7, 8 different offers before they can actually land in a good one,
so
right?
They are bumped out.
Correct, correct.
And then nationally, I was reading from Redfin that overall prices went up 15%.
Okay.
The number of homes for sale was at an all historical low, 18% lower than the same time at the last year. Yeah. Nevertheless, there are a few signs that the market might be easing off a little bit off the gas.
Okay.
Where in June, 56% of all homes were sold above listing price.
Yes.
And right now in November, it was 44%.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you see all these houses selling for above asking, and I wonder, what's up with the appraisals? What's all these people putting money, cash above, over what the lender is giving them for their loans, or again, cash, right? You never know.
Yeah.
100% cash.
So overall, everything is up, certainly compared to last year. But not everything is as crazy as it was in June.
Okay, that's
year.
good. That's good. Well,
let's see.
Let's see if we get to stabilize a little bit. So what should we expect then in 2022? What's the forecast?
Well, the forecast is there's none because they're kind of all over the place and they differ quite a bit. Right. So Redfin expects, due to rising mortgage rates, that people will feel some pressure in an increase of their expenses, and therefore maybe be less prone to buy a home or have to lower their budgets. So, so they say, so even though our New Year's forecast includes more listings and a slower home price growth, buyers might feel pinched due to other expenses increasing, which reduces their home budgets.
So now that we talked about November, why don't we talk a little bit about what to expect in 2022? Give me a little bit about the forecast for next year. What to expect?
Well, I looked across quite a few publications, and there were like 7 major parties that did their forecasts, like Goldman Sachs, Zillow, Redfin, you name it. And one thing I can conclude is that there's very little consensus about what we can expect for next year. Right. They're not sure what will happen. But Zillow and Goldman Sachs, they call what happened this year an almost perfect storm, creating this red hot housing market. So lower mortgage rates, remote work. So people, ventured out of the cities, or they bought a second home because they could be working in their second home. So that, created more pressure on the market. There was a wave of first-time millennial home buyers. So that's typically the home buyer that's turning 30 of age and ready to buy their first home. Right. And years of underbuilding, they mentioned as well. So really a lack of new homes on the market.
Yes, that's a big deal. And we know about that because we saw last year so many builders stop construction. And then when they decided to go back and build again, then there's lack of materials. So that delayed the whole thing. Last year was a big mess because of,
So of the 7 forecasts that I read, Zillow and Goldman Sachs, they are a bit of, they're somewhat outliers, and they expect still the home prices to rise. Zillow says 13.6% next year, which is huge.
It's a lot.
And Goldman Sachs says even 16%.
Oh, wow.
And all because of the discrepancy between supply and demand, really. One, not enough homes entering the market, and second, still because of the demographics and the first-time home buyers, entering the market.
Right.
So this is basically the birth boom that happened in 1989 to 1993. Right. They're now all turning 30 and they're ready to buy. Right. And so that they expect will not release the market of pressure.
Right. So that means that sellers will still be in control. So buyers, be patient, be ready to compete. And more than anything, stay still. And if that's what you want to accomplish next year, don't quit. It's going to happen, but you need a lot of patience, definitely.
Yeah. So then there's some other parties, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. they are a little bit more moderate than what we just heard. They're expecting the home prices to grow by 7.9 respectively to 7%.
Okay.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they differ slightly, but are in the same region. And Redfin and CoreLogic, they're saying they're expecting 3%, and CoreLogic even 1.9%.
Okay.
So that's a very low home price growth. Yeah.
That's
and
good.
this has mainly to do with the rising mortgage rates,
Of course.
which will, tamper demand.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. But then the big question will be, now as we speak, we're all kind of nervous again about what COVID is doing, and that will have an effect on working from home.
Exactly.
And if people are going back to the offices, then they will less likely venture out. Right. They will less likely be looking for a second home to work at.
True.
Yes, because that will have an effect.
Correct. Because this year, what we experienced was a lot of confidence in people going back into the offices, to the gym, going out shopping, etc. So we don't know how that's going to make an impact for next year with the changes we're seeing with the whole COVID and Omicron situation. So we have to see how the next, the earliest months of next year develops.
Yeah. And then finally, last but not least, the National Association of Realtors, they did a survey, and they came out with the following expectation. They expect a slower growth in home prices, decelerating inflation. So inflation will go down, which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
But there will be multiple interest rate hikes, which can be expected.
Yeah.
And they say this will contribute to a more normal housing market in the new year.
Okay.
Which I think we all hope for. Despite, for some realtors, they've been doing really well.
Right.
For customers,
of course,
buyers in particular, it's been really difficult.
And frustrating.
And frustrating.
Absolutely.
And that's not a good thing.
Nope.
Nevertheless, housing affordability remains a concern. And even if the market begins to settle down, affordability issues likely will continue to dampen home buying prospects for the many would-be owners.
Right.
Which is a pity because, you want everyone to be confident that at one time or another they will be able to own a home.
Right.
And these chances are decreasing.
That's so true. That's so true. It's complicated. In one side, it's really good that we have a really hot market. And in the other hand, it's a lot of people with the frustrations of not being able to own a home, right? And having to lease and throw that money away on a rental. So it's definitely, one of those things that we have to.
Yeah. Obviously not a black and white, clear forecast.
Right.
Because there's a lot of uncertainties.
Correct.
And COVID plays a big role in that.
True.
But otherwise, let's just hope for the best.
Absolutely.
And we're sure 2022 will be another successful home buying, home selling year.
Yes.
And let's hope that it will all cool down a little bit and go back to normal.
What's normal?
That is,
yeah,
right?
What's normal these days?
Yeah.
I think I forgot.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much for all that great information, Toby, and hopefully that you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Stone and Fields, Toby or myself, at stoneandfields.com as well. It's also available. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.